Alright, so for this assignment, we were tasked with reading through the case study for Golden Oaks High School involving Mr. Rhodes, and myself being Mr. Rhodes for this situation. So this is Every Day Counts by Braden Hubbard for AEP 858 case study. Alright, so section 1, who is involved? These are the stakeholders in the situation, or these are just kind of some of the details in the situation. First off, Mr. Rhodes, myself, is the first year principal. Next, we have the Golden Oak High School counselor. They're not taking proper steps to ensure students and teachers are resolving attendance issues. They've kind of been known as being negligent, or not negligent, but they're not necessarily getting to the standard that they're supposed to on attendance problems. Next is the Golden Oak High School athletic director, who also has a focus on allowing students to miss school and then providing excuses for them or slips for them to miss school. We have several teachers that are established and close to retirement. We are known for having a low turnover rate, and most of our teachers have a 10-year average of being at the school, so that they are very versed and knowledgeable in the school. Next is Dr. Newman, who is our district superintendent. He has a heavy focus on the student attendance, and that is kind of his primary focus, that he wants it to be known. I accidentally put school counselor on there a second time. Next is our school board. Every school has one. So a little bit of background. 5 out of the 965 students have missed 10 plus days of school in the first semester. For the school, there are 11 different sports and 31 different activities. Football being the most important. That you'll see that a lot with the athletic director. Our school includes people that are low income or poverty. Majority of the people are middle income, and then some high income as well. A stat provided is roughly 85% of students have missed 10 plus days each school year. That differentiates from the problem students in that they are 10 plus days in a semester. In the past, the school has received or been recognized for having the highest rate of attendance amongst all schools in the district. So that is section 1 of who is involved. So continuing section 1 of getting to know the students. First off, we have Karen, who is an 11th grade student. She has been an honor roll student her freshman and sophomore year, but in her junior year or 11th grade, she has really started to slip. Her grades are starting to show. When they looked into her record, they noticed that she was married this past August, and that she has been randomly missing Mondays and Fridays of the school day, or of school. So that is kind of becoming more of an issue. Parents have requested conference with teachers. That has not necessarily been followed up on. There was no note or indication showing that it has happened. And she had missed a midterm before Christmas break, and that the teacher had made note of that, and that they want to meet with the student. Next, we have Tyrone, who's a 10th grade student. It made note that he has 14 total absences. He has, in the honors program, he has missed because of 2 trips mainly. The first trip was a 5 days for DC trips with parents. He went to different museums and different educational excursions around DC, and he was approved by the teacher to miss that. Second one was a 5-day trip to Canada with Dad because he had never been. Dad justified it by saying there is many educational reasons as to why he should be allowed. Dad and Tyrone both promised he will catch up on missing schoolwork and get him in within a week. He was excused by the teacher, but this still exceeds the 3-day personal misses per school policy. So that is something to make note of. Next is Christina, who's a 9th grade student. She has missed 4 consecutive days 3 different times throughout the first semester. The reason she is missing is because of out-of-town church meetings. Some notes of concern: the algebra teacher has requested conference for missing 2 different exams, and her school records show that she has 2 C's and 1 D as well. So she is definitely struggling in the academic department because of missing school. Next up is Carl. Carl is a 10th grade student. He is more of a problematic background. He attends regular classes in the morning and then has been approved to go to vocational tech classes in the afternoon. His problems begin when he has random absences, resulting in getting a truant officer involved. He was referred to the truant officer in November, so that is a very short time into the school year, showing that he has a problem. His parents are not helpful. They do not support strong attendance, and he is excused if he is not feeling well. So that is very problematic because kids don't necessarily have the drive at the young age. Continuing, Carl. His father states if he is not finishing school, he will come work for him. The reason he is going to vocational school is for construction and drafting. So he has this experience, and Dad states he did not finish, so it is not a huge priority. He has 2 younger siblings in the school as well, and the school counselor has made note that he wants to keep an eye on them, or they want to keep an eye on them and track their progress. Next is John, who is an 11th grade student. John is the quarterback who was injured at the Jamboree on Labor Day. He has missed the first couple of games because of his injury. Doctors ordered PT Tuesday and Thursday, 12 to 2:30. So that's obviously problematic because it falls in the school day range. It's missing a lot of school, and it is kind of hard to justify. There's always other times to go rather than during the school day. He also tends to miss Friday afternoons because the athletic director has excused him because it is important for the football season and their well-being. Teachers are kind of also failing his department because they have not noted the excessive absenteeism, even though that is potential to be missing 3 days of class or 2.5 days of class per week. So it is very problematic if that trend continues, and he is an 11th grade student. So some legal or ethical issues here I'm seeing. The first off, staff are not following the policy guideline. The guideline is that they're wanting to be strict on attendance, and they have that 3 days policy that I talked about with Tyrone and traveling. This includes both the teachers and the athletic director. This isn't a legal one because it doesn't reach into legal boundaries, but it is kind of in the middle ground on that it is a set thing, so it should be followed. Teachers and athletic director are both playing a problem because they're not reporting it, and the athletic director is encouraging it by allowing students to miss a lot on especially Fridays, and this could potentially fit into a discriminatory suit. The reason I say that is that athletes are getting special privilege in comparison to other students. The football player, John, for example, is able to miss for PT, and they are also able to take off Friday afternoons because football is their most important sport, because that is their most dominant one that it made note of. So it could be discriminatory because only those athletes are getting it, whereas others are forced to go to school all the time. And then finally is the parents' patriae. This one is a problem because parents are violating the Prince versus Massachusetts, where that they need to put the well-being of the student first. The most problematic one in my eyes for this one is Carl, because the parents aren't pushing it. If he doesn't want to go, he doesn't have to go. So this is the 3 main issues I see: the not following policy guideline, discriminatory suit potentially, so that's a very legal one, and then ethically and legally the parents' patriae of not forcing students to go to school. Section 3. So in this one we were to synthesize it. So Mr. Rhodes, or me, has taken over Golden Oak High School and plans to put the focus back on attendance for students and staff by emphasizing the district's attendance policy and the methods I will take, which will also include that absenteeism will be better regulated by necessary and proper documentation, or it will not be allowed. So moving on to Section 4, the synthesize the facts. Who are the people involved? Me, Mr. Rhodes, I'm the first year principal. Dr. Newman, who's my district superintendent above me, the one that has the focus on absenteeism and the school attendance. Next is the athletic director, counselor, teachers, and then students and parents. So where is the place involved in this? It is Golden Oaks High School. servicing student grades 9 through 12 with 965 students in total. It's a suburban community, which it noted that most parents have to drive an hour, 2 hours away. That way, they are not able to be as involved in their students' lives as they would like to be. And then it also emphasizes that there are some low and high income families, but mainly middle income families. Program wise, there are 11 different sports, with football being the most dominant, so it is the most focused, and then 31 different clubs or activities. And then a little background on the school. The previous recipient of recognition for top attendance in the district, and then roughly 85% of students have missed 10 or more days for the year in recent times. Moving on to Section 5, the damaging situation. I've taken over as principal, and the school is having a growing problem with attendance. So the school still, a thing that plays into that is the school still uses physical methods to maintain files for students, i.e. the letters and slips. There are different methods we could do in modern times to upkeep that. We can have online ways of tracking these and physical. That way we have a faster method to file it or to look at it, and then we also have the more physical. That way, if the online version tends to fail. Relevant stakeholders in this will be me, the principal, superintendent, counselor, athletic director, teacher, parents, students, and the community. Can I learn more? Yes. All the information I've gathered is from my files. What I can do is I can talk with staff and students to follow up. I need to take a more active approach, and there's different steps that I can do to do that. Do I know enough to make rash decisions? No, I don't know anything outside of what is in files, and just reading files can be vastly different than getting first-hand accounts of what is truly happening. There is no emotion or importance or focus when it's written down. But I do know enough to begin implementing small changes, and I can begin meeting with staff and families to help remedy the situation. Section 6, identify options and possible consequences. Option 1 could be the no further action. As the name implies, do nothing and let the situation play out as it is. Students could naturally correct to old ways, and this could just fix itself. Option 2, the comprehensive or liberal approach. I could revoke future, I said absences, but I mean future absences that they take, like Tyrone taking trips, or the PT. I can make him force it to go later in the day. And then I can also prime a truancy officer, though, that if the situation continues, that it will then get them involved. Option 3, which is my intermediate strategy 1, I can create an attendance review team or board. This is good because I can also have it set up attendance tracking system that notifies the review team when students approach the policy limit, and then have them begin taking steps or actions to solve this. And then option 4, which is my intermediate strategy 2, which I can focus on staff training / retraining. And then I can also reemphasize the academic importance and then the policies at play. After some time, teachers can or staff can begin to slack on this, and they may lose why it's important, or they may lose some of that drive to really keep it involved, and that can play a part into it. Section 7, evaluate options and possible consequences. So for option 1, the no further action, this one takes, a pro of it is that it takes minimal effort to implement, and we've already put in the effort to review files and records, so that can be the positive side to it, that we don't have to do anything else. It can play out and it could fix itself, or it could not. The con of it, there's no involvement. This provides potential problems in that the students seem above the policy / law. They are not being punished for not following the rules. Ethically and morally, it defeats the purpose of policies and promotes absenteeism rather than fixing it, because there is no downside to missing school.